My name's George. I'm going to be your tour guide today, just so I come here and introduce myself real quick. Just so you know I exist, I'm not a recording you'll be listening to this entire time. Now, you might have just heard a safety announcement that was just playing, but just in case you guys missed it, I'll very quickly recap the most important part of that safety announcement, and that's just for anyone joining us on the upper deck today. We'll just kindly ask you make sure you stay in your seats while getting photos and videos for us. The only reason we ask for no standing on the upper deck is because if you look behind us, you'll see the famously talented Mr. Steve on the wheel. Feel free to give him a wave. Hi, Steve. Now, as talented as Steve is, he doesn't need to be able to see where he's going. And obviously, if we're all stood up in front of Steve, he can't see the river anymore. And then we have Titanic Part 2. And I'd assume you'd probably want to avoid that, so that's why we just ask you stay in your seats for us. Oh, let's give these guys a wave back. Hello, Westminster Bridge. Hello. Nice, good waving, guys. That was nice. That was a good cute moment to start the cruise. But yeah, obviously if you guys are getting up because you're headed downstairs, you know, that's totally okay, we understand that. Our bathrooms are downstairs at the back if you need them. There's also a bar downstairs serving snacks and drinks throughout the journey as well. Or again, if you just want to sit down there at all at any point, again, you're more than welcome to do so. Nice comfy seats and big windows all the way around, so wherever you start, you'll have a lovely time. But anyways, now all of that's out of the way, we can crack on with the tour. And let's kick things straight off with a very iconic building to your right-hand side, which is, of course, the new Palace of Westminster, or as it's otherwise known, the Houses of Parliament. Now, this building is the home of the UK government, and it has been now since the reign of King Henry VIII. Up until that point, it actually used to belong to the kings and queens, but you see, Henry, well, he absolutely hated that building. Not sure why, but he didn't like it, and quite frankly, he didn't want it anymore. So, well, he decided, well, I've had enough of this place, I'm packing up my bags, I'm moving out to Whitehall. And when he moved out, he established the very first medieval government on those grounds. And of course, it remains their home to this very day. In fact, you guys will notice outside the building a bunch of green and red tents. Now, those tents are actually the canteens for all the politicians that work in that building. So, if you haven't seen any politicians out there on their lunch break, by all means, feel free to make the most of the opportunity and give those politicians a nice friendly wave. Or any other hand gestures you might deem appropriate while you're here. I'm not going to judge, guys. It's not every day you get the chance, so you might as well make the most of it. Now, as you can see, we're just starting to turn around now, so anyone sat on the left, you'll also get a good unobstructed view of Parliament in just a second. And as we're starting to turn around, I'm going to start giving you guys a rundown of the three towers on top of the building, because you'll have spotted three quite distinctive looking ones up there. Now, currently directly behind us, the big one with the flagpole on top is called the Victoria Tower. Tallest one in Parliament. It's also where we store all the parliamentary archives as well. So every recorded law from throughout English history, they're all stored in that big tower at the back. Now, the pointy one in the centre is quite literally just called the Central Tower. Admittedly, not the most creative title, but there you go. There's no interesting function to tell you about that tower. It used to be a chimney, now it's a tower. So, there you go, guys. That's everything there is to know there. But coming up at the far side, a very iconic, very famous clock tower indeed. And of course, I don't have to tell you what that is. You will know that clock. You love that clock. On my count of three, I want to hear you guys shout out its name. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Big Ben!
No, Elizabeth Tower actually, but nice try, guys, almost. Big Ben does exist, but it's not the tower, it's actually the bell inside it. So whenever you hear that thing chiming away, you are listening to Big Ben. But yes, from the outside, it is just the Elizabeth Tower. So there we go, our first plot twist of today's cruise. And don't worry guys, I promise, many more to come. Now here we go, we've made it back to Westminster Bridge. Let's give them another wave and then I'll have some more buildings for you. Hello! Never mind. It was worth a try. Now, as we emerge from Westminster Bridge, on your right-hand side, a great view of our takeoff point from today, the London Eye. Now, the London Eye, it's been there for 25 years now. It was first built to commemorate the millennium back in the year 2000. And since it first opened up 25 years ago, it's obviously become a very distinctive landmark on the skyline, but also a very romantic place in London. Because since it first opened up, we've now seen over 6,000 marriage proposals on top of the London Eye. I know, how cute is that? What's not so cute though, 14 rejections in that 6,000 that we know of so far. And yeah, if you get rejected on the London Eye, it takes half an hour to complete a rotation. You're locked in there with an audience that witnessed the whole thing, and an automatic photo goes off at the end. So, yeah, it's worth making sure you know your answer before you go up, I would say. Now, to your left-hand side over here, behind those trees, big building with green roofs and flags on top, that's the home of the Ministry of Defence. It's said that underneath that building, there's over 30 stories worth of nuclear-proof bunkers, which all have tunnels linking up to the likes of Downing Street, Buckingham Palace, Houses of Parliament. So rest assured, if there was ever a nuclear fallout in London, don't worry, guys. The politicians and the royal family, they're all going to be lovely and safe. I don't think we get invited, but good for them. About time they got some special treatment. Now guys, we are quickly approaching your next set of bridges, and luckily for us, bridges plural, there's 2 of them to wave at here, so we'll make the most of this one. 3, 2, 1, hello! Hello! Well, we got a couple at the end then, nice. Alright, see you again on the second bridge. 3, 2, 1, hello again! Now, on your left-hand side over here, you're about to pass a white building with a green tiled roof and a flag in the centre. That's the home of the Savoy. The Savoy is London's first ever purpose-built luxury hotel. If you wanted to treat yourselves and stay in the Savoy whilst you're here, you're more than welcome to do so. But I'm just going to warn you now that the Royal Suite is going to cost you guys £18,000 a night. With a 3-night minimum stay as well. Now, I know that sounds pretty expensive, but included with that price, you get your own butler, you get your own chauffeur, and unlimited 24-hour access to your own personal therapist. But then again, if I just spent 18 grand a night on a hotel in London, yeah, I think I'd probably need a good therapist after that, so good on the Savoy. Now, we've made it to your next bridge. We're at Waterloo now. Let's give the guys up there a wave. He looks very keen for a wave. Hello! Nice, good stuff. So just me, or is he with Declan Rice as well in the Arsenal shirt? On your right-hand side here, behind those trees, you might be interested to know we are now passing the ugliest building on today's tour. It's okay to call that building ugly. It was actually officially voted Britain's ugliest building, so it literally holds the record for not just London, but the entire nation as well. And I'm sure you can all work out why. It's absolutely disgusting, but inside it's really nice. It's the home of the National Theatre. We often use it as a trial space for all the West End plays, so if you wanted to see a West End quality show in London, but at a much cheaper price before it becomes famous, then I would definitely recommend the National there. It's a really great place to be checking out whilst you're here. But now, ahead of you on your right-hand side, probably my favourite story on the cruise. We have a red brick warehouse with a grey tower on top. It looks as if it spells out the word OXO on top of it. Now, for anyone who doesn't know OXO, they are a really popular company in the UK. They specialise in making these tiny cubes of beef dust. It's probably the best way of describing it. Essentially what you do is you take these cubes of beef dust and you pour hot water on them. Then they turn into gravy. Yeah, it really is the height of British cooking. And they used to make those cubes in that warehouse, but they ran into a big problem because, you see, on the River Thames, it's illegal to advertise on the skyline in any way, shape or form. And the first thing OXO did as soon as they moved in was construct that tower, which pretty clearly says OXO, the company name, directly on top of it. Now obviously that's pretty blatantly breaking that advertising law, so they got taken to court over it. But they ended up completely getting away with it when they hired a very clever lawyer that just simply argued, well, Your Honour, how can you prove that that tower says OXO? No, all that happened here was we just ordered some random geometrically shaped windows for our tower that just so happened to come in the shape of a circle across another circle, which, when you put it up there together, I mean, it looks like the word OXO, but it's just shapes. You can't punish us for that. That's not advertising. And the judge actually believed them. So to this day, it remains the only